Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about chapter 3 reading quiz answers. So make sure that you first read your chapter and do the reading quiz and find out whether you get the ideas in chapter 3. So let's start with the first question. Which of the following statements best represents the law of demand? So what is law of demand? It says that when the prices rise, quantity demanded decreases. Just think of yourself. When the prices are rising, you buy less of the same good, or when the prices are cheaper, when you see a discount, you buy more of the good. That is called law of demand. Okay, so let's find out which one does that relation represents. But one more thing here, this inverse relation also holds. When the prices are going down, quantity demanded increases. You see, one is going down, one going up, one is going up, one is going down. So there is an inverse relationship. Let's read. Bella gets a job with a company that has a stricter dress code and reduces her purchases of sports shoes to afford dressier shoes. So it's not talking about the relation between price and quantity demanded in the sentences. Manufacturers of sports shoes increase their production as the price of those items rises. Here in this sentences, it talks about not buyers, it talks about producers. Because law of demand is about demand. Okay, demand represents the buyers in the market, not suppliers, so this cannot be correct. If the price of sports shoes is $80 on average, Bella will purchase 2 pairs per year. So yeah, there is some kind of a quantitative statement here. If the price is $80, Bella purchased 2 pairs. But this still doesn't show the relation between price and quantity demanded. So let's read the last one. If the price of sports shoes increases, so it says that the prices are higher, then Bella will purchase less shoes, fewer pairs of shoes. Therefore, this represents the law of demand. Let's see this question. Which of the following describes a supply curve? So supply curve represents the relation between price and quantity supplied. So that is the seller's part, okay? Sellers are supplying goods to the market, and that relation between the amount of goods supply with the price is called law of supply. So law of supply says that when the price is higher, everything is more profitable. To produce more units is more profitable, so supply increases. You see, this direct relationship is called law of supply. And reverse is also true. When the prices are lower, quantity supply is lower as well. So because of this direct relationship, if you remember from your basic college algebra, this curve, supply curve, with price is here, quantity, this is just by convention. We like to use dollar terms on the vertical axis and quantities on the horizontal axis. Supply curve is an upward sloping curve. That means prices are rising. So let's say this is $10. You have more quantities supplied in the market, from 10 to 20, for instance. So we need to find that relation either as a graph or a schedule. If it's a schedule, it's a table. So in a table, you have 2 columns. One represents the price, the other one represents the quantities. But we should see a relation such that when the prices are rising, quantities are rising as well. So let's see, the first one is demand curve because it's downward sloping. It's because of the inverse relation. The second one represents a decrease in quantity. So that represents law of demand. When the prices are rising, quantities are decreasing. But this one kind of looks like what we are looking for, but it's not correct because price is presented on the horizontal axis, okay? And the quantity is represented on the vertical axis, which is not the case for the supply. For supply, we either look at a table that the prices are rising, quantities are rising, or we look at a curve where you have prices on the vertical and quantity supply on the horizontal axis. Therefore, this answer is correct because as the prices are rising, quantity supplied is increasing. Let's look at the next question. The supply of new houses in Houston is best described as how? Let's try to find out which represents the supply. The number of new houses purchased. So purchasing is not supply side. Purchasing is buyers, right? Buyers buy, suppliers sell the product. Therefore, the first one is not correct. That represents the demand for houses. B, the quantity of new houses that builders are willing and able to build at various prices in a given period of time. This looks like correct, okay? The reason is because supply represents able and willingness, okay? Able and willingness. It doesn't tell us the amount, but able and willingness of suppliers at different prices, That's what we do, right? At $50, people supply maybe 100 units, and the price changes, their able and willingness changes as well. So therefore, this is correct. Let's read the other one. As the price of new houses in Houston fell in 2020, builders built fewer new houses. That is law of supply. When the price goes down, quantity supply goes down too. They go both of them down. The number of new houses built in Houston in 2020, it's not the supply. You have to be careful. Supply represents, when you read the definition correctly, it doesn't tell how many houses will be built. It says that the supplier's ability and willingness to build new houses at various different prices in a given period of time. The market equilibrium for milk in your city can be best described as follows. So what is a market equilibrium? Market equilibrium represents price and quantity. Okay, this is my price, this is the quantity, this is supply curve, always upward sloping, this is the demand curve. The intersection of these 2 points is the equilibrium price and quantity. Why we choose the intersection? Because there is only one point, quantity supply equals to quantity demanded. So that is equilibrium because there is no leftover. You built as many houses as the people want. So nobody needs to keep the excess amount in the inventory, or there are no long lines in front of a store to buy a very limited production of a good. Therefore, at equilibrium, markets clear. Markets clear means quantity supply equals the quantity demanded at that price. So let's look at which one is correct. It's not the highest profit. The first one cannot be correct. The price and quantity at which milk producers will earn the highest profit. Let's look at the second one, the difference between the quantity demanded for milk and the quantity supplied at the equilibrium price. No, that's not correct. When the market is balanced at the price that benefits milk buyers the most. No, the equilibrium price and quantity makes every part of the transaction happy, because buyers get the milk and suppliers sell all the milk. There is no excess. And let's see the next one. When the demand and supply of milk intersect at a price where the quantity demanded and supplied of milk are the same. That's the correct one. They intersect. So QS, quantity supplied, equals to quantity demanded. Number 5. Which of the following events would increase the demand for cruise vacation? So we are talking about the events that would increase the cruise vacation. We need to remember what the determinants of demand. First determinant, as you know, is the price. Okay, price is an important determinant. Okay, and when the price changes, this is very important. I want you to pay attention. This is my demand curve. You're not going to shift the demand curve because you can see the impact of price. Let's say $5 the price here, and now it's $2 by just moving along the curve. This is, let's say, 10, this is 20. So you can move down to see a decrease in price. You can move up to see the impact of increase in price on the quantity. So this price is the most important determinant, but the change in the price changes not the demand, changes quantity demanded. Quantity demanded because you are moving from one quantity to another. Okay, so an increase in price is going to change the quantity demanded, which will decrease the quantity demanded. So the price is unique because it's on the vertical axis. The mathematical interpretation is different. I mean, how to show the change on quantity demanded is different than the other determinants. Now we have other determinants of demand, other determinants which are not the price of the good itself. So this is the price of the milk if we are talking about the milk market. Other determinants are not the price of the milk, are not price of the good itself. but still they affect the demand. Like for instance, income. When people have more income, they buy more. Demand increases. So here is the key point. Since income is not one of the dimension here, because we have only 2 dimensions, it is going to shift the demand curve when it changes the demand curve. So here we have price, here we have quantity. So when the income is rising, people buy more, then the demand curve is going to shift to the right. So this is new demand curve. This is new demand curve, this is old demand curve. So what happens is that at every price, people buy more, okay? $5, they were buying before 10 units. Now at $5, because of the income, they buy 20 units. Since the entire demand curve shifts in this example, we call it as change in demand, okay? So change in demand is used for non-price determinants, and they are shifting the demand curve either to the right. Right represents an increase in demand and left represents a decrease in demand. You can shift, and always the shift is parallel. Let's shift here. You see at that price, now you have the same price, you have less demand, okay? So for that reason, we need to find any other determinant that affects the demand other than the price of the good itself. Income is one of them. You need to read your textbook carefully to find out, and you need to list them to make sure you understand each of them. Income, price of related goods. What else? We have taste or preference of customers. These are all determinants that affects the buyers, not suppliers. Taste of preferences, price of related goods, income, expectations of buyers, and the next one, maybe number of buyers for the market demand, number of buyers. So let's find out which one is actually going to change, increase the demand for cruise vacation. So the market is cruise vacation, okay? The price of air traveling decreased significantly. This is one option. The economy is slowing, unemployment increases, and average income falls. For sure, this is going to negatively affect, right? Because if people earn less, they are going to demand for less cruise vacations. So therefore, it's not going to increase, it's going to decrease demand. B is not correct. The price of cruises falls. Okay, this might be really tricky for you. You might choose this one, but it's not correct. The reason is because when the price of cruises falls, yes, the quantity demanded increases, but you move along the curve and it's called increase in quantity demanded, not increase in demand. For that reason, we are not choosing the price, okay? Intuitionally correct. The price of cruises falls, you buy more cruise vacations, but mathematically, since you move along the curve, you're not shifting the curve, you're not shifting the entire curve, it's an increase in quantity demanded, not increase in demand. Let's see the next one. The popularity of cruises rises after a successful marketing campaign. So this is definitely going to increase. This is in the category of taste and preference. Therefore, the right answer is this one. So why not the first one? The price of air traveling decreased significantly. This is the substitute good. That means if you don't go vacation with cruises, if you have a cheaper alternative, you go with cheaper alternative. Why not you demand for an expensive one? So air travels is a substitute for cruise vacation. Therefore, when air traveling decreases significantly, people buy less cruise vacations. That's a decrease in demand. Question number 6. Consider the market for cheese. If the price of milk increases, what will be the consequence? So milk is an input for cheese, okay? So it's all about now producers, because I don't care as a buyer what the input prices for cheese producers are, okay? So for that reason, input prices, okay, let's write now the supply side. Supply, the determinants of supply, price. You move along the curve, okay? Price, quantity, you move along the supply curve, here to here. So you're not going to shift the curve. Non-price determinants. Non-price determinants, but these are the non-price determinants other than the price of the good itself. So milk is a price. Price of a milk is a price, but it's an input price. It's not the cheese price, okay? Input prices. When input prices are higher, people produce less cheese, because every cheese they sell is actually less profitable. So the idea for production supply side is very easy. Ask yourself if this event make production less profitable or more profitable. If it makes it less profitable, they supply less. Okay, they supply less, therefore input prices increases, quantity supplied, not quantity supplied, supply is going to decrease. Technology. If you have a better technology, production is faster and cheaper, therefore supply increases. Expectations. Positive expectations increase supply, negative expectations decrease supply. And the last one is the number of sellers. You can also include here tax. Tax is a cost. When the tax increases, supply decreases. Subsidy. Subsidy is the amount of money or other ways that the government subsidize the firm. So something positive and additional income for the firms. When there is a subsidy, supply increases. Regulations will decrease supply because regulation means more cost to the firm. So now if the price of milk increases, it becomes more costly to produce cheese. Therefore, the supply of cheese would fall. Question 7. Which of the following graphs represents an increase in supply? So an increase in supply, remember, it's not increase in quantity supplied. If it's an increase in quantity supplied, you just move along the curve. An increase in supply is the shift of supply curve to the right. So this is my supply curve, it shifts to the right. Okay, that's the increase in supply. So we need to find out first the right shape of the curve. Supply curve is upward sloping. This first figure is a decrease in supply. The second is an increase in demand. The third one is a decrease in demand. And finally, the fourth one is an increase in supply. Question 8. Identify the scenario which corresponds to the graph of a given market below. So what happens in this graph is that demand shifts to the left and supply doesn't shift. That's the story. So let's read. The graph represents a decrease in equilibrium quantity. Okay, let's find out. So let's draw it here. So what happens in this figure, we have price and quantity. This is supply, this is demand. And what happened is that demand shift to the left. This is the new demand curve. So now we are going to get the intersection of the existing supply, because supply doesn't shift, and the new demand curve, which in this case, here is my new equilibrium. Okay, this is P new after the shift, this is Q new. And this is the old one, old equilibrium, P old before the shift, P old and Q old. Okay, so what happens? The graph represents a decrease in price and decrease in quantity. So let's find out. The graph represents a decrease in demand and a decrease in equilibrium price and quantity. That is correct. So why not A? The graph represents a decrease in equilibrium quantity demanded. No, it's not the equilibrium quantity, it's the decrease in demand, because we are shifting the demand. Okay, so therefore the right answer is the graph represents a decrease in demand and decrease in equilibrium price and quantity. Let's do next question. Consider a market with an equilibrium price of $10 if the government imposes a price ceiling of 8. So let's first draw the price ceiling. Price ceiling is the maximum price in this market. But let's find out equilibrium price, supply, demand, and then equilibrium price here, $10, right? Now the government imposes a price ceiling. That means the government says you cannot sell this good more than $8. This is the maximum. Price ceiling means maximum price in this market. So anything above, let's say $9 is illegal. Anything below is legal. So the maximum price you can sell this good at $8 in the market. So what is going to be the result? Result is obvious, right? The free markets usually push the point here by suppliers and sellers interaction in the market. But because now we have a constraint here, we have the constraint of $8, the price cannot go up here. So we are going to stop here. There will be less supply compared to the equilibrium quantity, and the demand is going to be here. So this is quantity demanded, this is quantity supplied. As you see, quantity demanded is higher than quantity supplied. We know this case, it's called shortage. Shortage is the scenario that people are lining up in front of the stores for limited production or limited availability of a product. So this distance is the shortage. Okay. For that reason, there is going to be a shortage because the price ceiling is below the equilibrium. If it's above the equilibrium, it's not going to cause any problem because any price below price ceiling is legal. So the free markets are going to shift the price to equilibrium. So if the price ceiling is here, no problem because all prices are legal. But if it's below equilibrium, it creates the problem of shortage. Question 10. A market is most efficient when social or economic surplus is maximized. So what does that mean? That means social means consumer plus producer surplus, both of them, the sum is maximized. So let's try to understand what is actually a consumer surplus and a producer surplus. So let's say the price for a hamburger is $5, okay? And you value for a hamburger $10, let's say you are here. Then you get a bargain, right? Because you pay $5 but you value $10, so you don't spend the whole entire $10. For that reason, that's called consumer surplus, okay? So there are people here on the demand curve value the hamburger more than its price. So if you sum all these people's surplus, it's called consumer surplus, this area. This area is called consumer surplus. Now let's understand the producer surplus. This is supply, this is demand. And again, let's talk about the hamburger market. And there's a price, let's say it's $5. And then there are sellers here who are producing the hamburger less than $5. So there is a profit each time they sell the hamburger at $5. So let's say you are here, seller, whose cost is $2 a hamburger. So you are making a profit. But there are many sellers, so therefore this area, price, and the supply curve, this triangle is called producer surplus. So when we can maximize this whole together, the both areas, here, this one is producer surplus, right? This one is producer surplus. This is producer surplus, or the profit, you can say that way too. And this one is consumer surplus. Consumer surplus. So the efficient market is when we have CS plus PS maximum, okay, which is social surplus. Question 11. Consider the market for air travel. If airport fees rise and cause the price of plane tickets to rise, so airport fees are paid by sellers of the ticket, right? So remember, when we talk about sellers, airport fees doesn't care us, okay? We are the buyer, we don't know what the airport fees are, but this is an input cost for a seller. If input costs are increasing, it becomes more expensive. Remember, we are going to check whether profitable or not. Okay, if it's less profitable, if you are making less money, then the supply is going to go down. If it's more profitable, supply is going to go up. In that case, it will cause airlines to lower the number of flights they offer. You might argue that the consumers are going to travel less, but it's not going to happen immediately. When the supply shifts to the left because there are less airline travels, the price increases. When the price increases, because suppliers like to reflect the change in the cost to the price, the consumers are going to buy less travel. But that is only going to happen after supply shifts left. Supply shifts left means that it will cause airlines to lower the number of flights they offer. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching this video.